roughly Jupiter and Arapahoe. Direction of travel somewhere kind of east to east-northeast. So, thank you.
3SL. To me, it looks like the lowering's going further down, Bob.
Jump carefully.
The thunderstorm can be an impressive display of nature's awesome power. It can be a beneficial sight to a farmer's parched land or a harbinger of destruction, producing vivid lightning, flash floods, large hail, or in the most severe case, the dreaded tornado. By knowing the basic conditions needed for the development of a thunderstorm, and by associating these conditions with certain cloud formations, one can gain a higher state of atmospheric awareness and be able to better anticipate the development of storms or evaluate the dangers of an approaching storm with more confidence, thereby aiding the early detection and warning process necessary for saving lives and property. It is the morning of a day which may include severe thunderstorms or even the possibility of a tornado. The morning forecasts had all suggested thunderstorms by late afternoon. The sun's light dims, then brightens, then dims in rapid succession as stratocumulus, a type of layered cumulus cloud, races northward, riding the force of a low-level jet of air about 60 miles per hour, located just a couple of thousand feet above the Earth's surface. The rapid movement of these clouds indicates strong winds above the surface which aid in the proper wind shear environment conducive to severe thunderstorms and tornadoes. By late morning or early afternoon, another clue may reveal itself in the form of unusual smooth or laminar bands of clouds known as transverse rolls. The presence of these laminar cloud bands indicate the existence of winds which change in both speed and direction drastically within a short amount of height, usually no more than a few thousand feet. These transverse rolls often form in bands which are aligned parallel with south or southeasterly winds at the surface. At the laminar tops of these bands, several thousand feet up, winds blow from a southwesterly direction, generally perpendicular or transverse to these cloud bands, thus their name, transverse rolls. These clouds are a clue to the existence of winds which veer or turn in a clockwise direction with height that is from the south or southeast at the surface to the southwest a few thousand feet up. This wind shear environment is conducive to the formation of severe thunderstorms later in the day. During early or mid-afternoon, a cloud formation known as altocumulus castellanus, or ACUS for short, may be present. These are mid-level clouds of around 7,000 to 10,000 feet above ground and often take on the appearance of tiny little castles, thus their name castellanus. The presence of this cloud formation suggests rather strong mid-level instabilities, instabilities which may be realized by growing storms later in the day. If you see these clouds, make a mental note that unstable air is aloft over your area, which may result in thunderstorm formation in the near future. As late afternoon approaches, puffy cumulus clouds may manifest themselves into towering cumulus. Towering cumulus clouds are cumulus which are taller than they are wide and indicate vertical motion in the lower atmosphere. If these cumulus clouds develop rapidly into narrow individual cloud towers that are many times taller than they are wide, they may be referred to as turkey towers. Turkey towers develop and fall apart in rapid succession and indicate increasing vertical motions which may ultimately result in explosive thunderstorm development. Cloud towers may also tend to lean over or be sheared over in the face of stronger winds aloft, such as in this case here. Notice how this turkey tower is being ripped apart at its top. This is due to the cloud's weak updraft, which is trying to build vertically into stronger winds at higher levels, blowing from left to right. This is a clue to the existence of strong speed shears, which favor severe thunderstorm and tornado development. Towering cumulus clouds like the one seen here may develop further into large mounded clouds known as cumulus congestus. A congestus cloud is the forerunner to the cumulonimbus, or CB. Notice how this congestus cloud leans over with height, an indication of vertical wind shear. Rapidly growing updrafts often have a crisp cumuliform outline to their associated cloud towers. Many towering cumulus clouds may develop, dissipate, then redevelop before one or more clouds balloon into a cumulonimbus. Almost all mature cumulonimbus clouds will have a rather flat cloud structure at their tops known as a thunderstorm anvil. The anvil is a visual indication that the storm is in the mature stage during which lightning and heavy rain is produced. With unusually intense storms, such as a supercell, this thunderstorm anvil may appear rather hard and crisp, with the anvil underside consisting of knobby protrusions called knuckles. The existence of knuckles suggests the presence of a strong updraft capable of producing severe weather. Another interesting feature which may form at the summit of a developing cloud tower is a smooth horizontal cloud called a pileus, or cap cloud, as shown here. These formations are usually short-lived owing to the rapidly changing updraft towers. This is a good clue that rapid updraft development is taking place. The basic building blocks of a thunderstorm are updrafts of warm, moist air called cells. The typical life cycle of a thunderstorm cell is on the order of 15 to 30 minutes, during which the cell goes through a development stage where the cloud contains all updraft, a mature stage when both updrafts and downdrafts exist, and a dissipation stage when the cell consists of almost entirely downdrafts of air. Most thunderstorms consist of several cells in various stages of life. Notice how this time-lapse photography reveals multiple updraft towers or cells forming, then maturing in this complex. These storms are called multicells and are the most common type of thunderstorm. Occasionally, a multicell storm may produce unusually strong updrafts, which result in short episodes of severe weather during the mature or early dissipation stages of each cell. This type of storm is known as a pulse storm. Cumulonimbus clouds viewed from a distance often display certain features which lend insight to the strength of updrafts found within. Here, one can see a series of stair-stepping updraft towers progressively getting taller as they approach the main storm updraft. This line of towers is called a flanking line and serves as an area for new development in a thunderstorm. Above the flat anvil portion of a storm, one might observe a cumuliform nub of cloud which extends above this anvil by a considerable distance. This feature is known as an overshooting top and is an indication that the storm's updraft is quite strong. When you are viewing a storm from many miles away, use this feature as a clue to the possible severity of a storm. As a general rule, the bigger the overshooting top and the longer this feature is present, the greater the chance that severe weather is occurring beneath this storm. The anvil top portion of a thunderstorm, which normally spreads downstream of the storm's updraft, may occasionally develop upstream in the face of strong winds in the upper atmosphere. This phenomenon is known as backshearing. The presence of a backsheared anvil indicates an extremely intense updraft capable of producing severe weather, such as this storm in north-central Kansas. Cloud towers, which are weakening or in the process of dissipation, will change from a hard or crisp cloud outline to a fuzzy appearance. This process is known as glaciation. Lightning is one of the most dangerous elements of all thunderstorms, killing more people than hurricanes and tornadoes combined on a yearly average. Lightning can take on many different forms, which can offer clues to the structure and evolution of a storm. One of the most common forms of lightning, and the most dangerous, is cloud-to-ground lightning. This type of lightning is most frequent during the mature stage of a thunderstorm and generally occurs near the interface of the storm's updraft and the precipitation core, or downdraft. Cloud-to-ground strikes, or CGs, are channels which extend from the cloud to the ground and generally exhibit branches or dendritic patterns. If a lightning channel has many overlapping bends and is relatively close to the viewer, an effect known as bead lightning may occur, as seen in this discharge.
Oh, wow. See that bead up there at the end? Yeah, I got that on video.
An unusual-looking form of cloud-to-ground lightning called staccato lightning may occur in intense multicell storms or supercells. Staccato bolts are lightning strikes of extremely short duration and often exhibit considerable branching. They usually occur in the vicinity of a thunderstorm updraft vault, as seen here. During the latter stages of a storm's life, cloud-to-ground lightning will tend to decrease in frequency, allowing another form of lightning to take center stage. That is cloud-to-cloud lightning. Cloud-to-cloud lightning can be one of the most spectacular sights produced by a thunderstorm. These lightning discharges can travel as far as 50 miles from their point of origin. They generally occur on the undersides of thunderstorm anvil clouds, especially if the anvil canopy is quite extensive, as in a complex of storms. Visually, this lightning tends to crawl along the undersides of these anvils, thus their name, anvil crawlers.
Got that one.
Anvil crawlers are most common with large complexes of storms known as mesoscale convective systems, or MCSs. The presence of anvil crawler lightning can serve as a clue that the storm is in a stage of late maturity or decay. However, this is by no means an infallible sign. Use this clue in conjunction with others, such as cloud edge definition, to determine if a storm is in a process of decline. These are anvil zits. Anvil zits are another form of cloud-to-cloud or cloud-to-air lightning. They appear as extremely short lightning channel segments, which usually occur in the region where a storm's anvil cloud connects with the main storm updraft tower. Lightning zits may serve as a clue to the presence of an intense updraft in the mature stage, which could produce severe weather. Cloud-to-cloud lightning, which is concealed within or obscured by clouds so that the lightning channel is not visible, results in what is known as sheet lightning. As this video shows, lightning can strike well away from the center of the storm. Watch closely as a lightning strike, initiated from the anvil of a storm, strikes a nearby power pole miles away from the precipitation core. This is known as a bolt from the blue.
Oh my God! I got that.
This video shows a lightning strike extremely close to a motor vehicle.
A severe thunderstorm was indicated along the Parker and Tarrant County lines at 11:30 p.m.
An enclosed vehicle is one of the safest places to be during lightning activity. This is due to the metal body of the vehicle acting as a shield or Faraday cage, which directs the charge around the individuals inside. Contrary to popular belief, rubber tires do not serve as a protective insulation from the ground. Rather, lightning will arc from the metal wheel hubs to the ground. In the case of steel-belted radial tires, lightning may blow out the tire upon exiting. Occasionally, lightning may strike a power pole and its associated transformer.
Oh, it hit something
This
else,
can
didn't
cause
it?
the transformer to explode in a brilliant blue-green or orange flash, depending upon the material makeup of the unit. These explosions are called power flashes and can many times be seen from miles away, as these examples
Well,
show.
lit something up, didn't it?
Power flashes without lightning present could indicate that damaging winds are occurring or that a tornado is on the ground.
Yeah.
These are mammatus
There
clouds.
it is. You can see
Mammatus
through it.
are mid to high-level clouds which usually form on the base of a thunderstorm anvil. They consist of a series of smooth sack-like protrusions which sink downward with time. Mammatus clouds are not dangerous and do not indicate tornado formation. However, the presence of well-developed mammatus does indicate that a thunderstorm is relatively close by or has been in the vicinity within the past couple of hours. Use this cloud formation as a clue to the approach of possibly strong storms, especially if these clouds are strikingly well formed when viewed to the west. Mammatus clouds also form on the backsides of thunderstorms after they have moved off to the east, allowing sunlight to illuminate the undersides of these clouds. This results in quite breathtaking sunsets, as seen here. Falling precipitation, when backlit, will appear as a series of dark vertical streamers known as rain shafts. A heavy and often opaque rain shaft is called a core. These cores can take on a variety of colors due to the ambient light scattered off of them. Occasionally, one might see a divergent pattern to the precipitation core where it meets the ground. This curling outward of the core is called a rainfoot and often indicates the presence of strong outflow winds at the surface. These winds can sometimes be damaging and are referred to as downbursts. If the thunderstorm's updraft becomes rather intense, an isolated lowering may develop from the rain-free cloud base of the storm. This lowering is known as a wall cloud and is indicative of a very strong updraft above this region. Current theory suggests that wall clouds develop when a mixture of rain-cooled air from the precipitation area of the storm is ingested into a strong updraft. This rain-cooled air has a higher relative humidity than the usual inflow air. Thus, it condenses at a lower level than the ambient cloud base, resulting in a lowered cloud area called a wall cloud. As the mixture of rain-cooled air is pulled into the updraft, a tail-like cloud extension may form and angle down from the north side of the wall cloud into the precipitation region, as seen here. This cloud formation is known as a tail cloud and is always found attached to a wall cloud. The tip of the tail always points toward the region of heavy precipitation, usually north and northeast of the wall cloud. The motion of a tail cloud is that of a conveyor belt, with cloud tags racing horizontally toward the wall cloud, with rapid upward motion found at the junction of the tail and wall clouds, as seen in this example. With multicell thunderstorms, wall clouds may develop and dissipate rather rapidly, with no one lowering lasting very long. If a multicell storm intensifies further into a supercell, a wall cloud may develop and remain rather persistent or organize further into a rotating wall cloud. A wall cloud which exhibits persistent rotation should be considered rather dangerous, for it is these cloud formations which usually precede large tornadoes. Tornado formation in association with a wall cloud may begin when a relatively dry or unsaturated downdraft develops and descends to the surface behind the rotating updraft. This rear flank downdraft, or RFD as it is called, tends to erode cloud material away on the backside of the storm, creating a clear slot which wraps into the mesocyclone circulation. The clear slot will appear as a slot of bright sky where sunlight is allowed to penetrate the dark rain-free base, as seen here. Visually, cloud tags will have a sinking motion similar to a cascading waterfall in the vicinity of this rear flank downdraft. Strong, damaging surface winds may also occur beneath this RFD feature. Current theory suggests that this downdraft serves as one of the mechanisms which can concentrate low-level mesocyclone rotation into the vortex known as a tornado. The appearance of such a downdraft, however, does not always guarantee that a tornado will form, as this scene illustrates.
Get to see the erosion taking place. We'll take another photograph of clear slot.
As the rear flank downdraft progressively erodes into a rotating updraft, warm, moist air flowing in from the southeast will eventually be cut off by this downdraft. This condition is called an occlusion and is usually the demise of the circulation. However, one must watch the northeast edge of this clear slot for rapid development of a new rotating wall cloud and possible tornado formation. Storms have been known to go through a series of occlusions in this fashion, occurring as much as 9 times in a row. Successive tornado production by a series of RFD occlusions is called cyclic tomadogenesis. On occasion, the usually bright clear slot produced by an RFD may fill with precipitation and wrap around the mesocyclone center. This precipitation, when viewed by radar, will often take the form of a figure 6 shape or hook echo. Fully wrapped mesocyclones, like the one shown here, normally consist of a donut-shaped pattern of precipitation with rain curtains wrapping cyclonically around the somewhat rain-free center. This relatively rain-free center directly under the mesocyclone is called the bear's cage for obvious reasons. This mesocyclone core punch illustrates these wrapping rain curtains and the relatively rain-free center of the mesocyclone.
What do we have? Funnel cloud there? Yeah, tornado. This guy got out of town in time. Developing tornado. There we go. Pretty good funnel cloud with it. Going right over Newkirk.
Even without a tornado, the region around a rotating wall cloud can be host for other varieties of severe weather, such as extreme downburst winds and very large hail. The existence of a rotating wall cloud, especially if it is persistent for tens of minutes, is a good indicator of possible tornado formation. Tornadic rotation is something that does not need any imagination to visualize. It is persistent, organized, circular motion with cloud tags moving left to right on the front side and right to left on the back side when facing the circulation, as this scene shows. It is this rotation that is the visual manifestation of a low-level mesocyclone, a feature that can only be detected by a Doppler weather radar.
Another shot.
Notice how this developing wall cloud exhibits upward motion superimposed with cyclonic rotation. This is very common with tornadic wall clouds. If you see these motions, watch this cloud very closely and stay out of its path. It is important to note that many wall clouds do not rotate and do not produce tornadoes. There are other forms of rotating clouds that do not present a hazard. Rotation, seen as shallow eddies on the underside of shelf clouds, and shear eddies, such as seen here on the edge of a growing cumulus tower, do not constitute rotation of any vertical depth, such as a mesocyclone. Nevertheless, these cloud motions are often interesting to observe. Small funnel clouds may also form on the sides or bases of cumulus clouds or on the sides of cumulonimbus. These formations are called shear funnels and are small, brief, rope-like funnels which form in areas of strong wind shears. They are generally mid-level funnels which are not dangerous.
There's that funnel in relation to the whole storm. Oh, geez.
Supercell storms are a special breed of thunderstorm, which always consist of one or more rotating updrafts. The existence of updraft rotation often adds to the strength of the updraft through dynamic processes and updraft organization. This results in these storms producing extremely large hail, strong damaging winds, flash flood rainfalls, and small to large tornadoes. A storm identified as a supercell presents a significant threat to life and property in its path, especially if in populated areas. A persistent rotating updraft in a supercell storm is known as a mesocyclone. Mesocyclones usually range from 2 to 6 miles in diameter and may extend almost all the way to the top of the storm. While a mesocyclone is not a visually observable phenomenon, Visual evidence to its existence may be present in the form of curved inflow bands or extensive cloud striations, which tend to curve around the sides of a thunderstorm updraft and the rotating wall cloud at the cloud base.
You think we're far enough away?
Supercell storms are roughly subdivided into several types depending upon updraft orientation and the amount of precipitation visually present falling from the storm. These different kinds of supercells should be considered as a continuum of types, since many storms do not easily fit within bounds of a particular type. Storms which do not fit into categories well are called hybrid storms. These storms are actually a mix of types. One type of supercell, and often the most visually striking, is known as the low precipitation supercell, or LP. These storms often occur in drier climates, such as the high plains of eastern New Mexico and west Texas, extending northward into western Nebraska. LP supercells are known to produce very little liquid precipitation, as their name suggests. These storms can be considered as bare-bones updrafts, with all low clouds stripped away to reveal barrel-shaped updraft towers marked on their sides by cloud striations or grooves, similar to the threads of a screw.
756, logging off. Move northward.
These striations are a good indication that the storm is strongly rotating and may be capable of producing a tornado. Even without a tornado, these storms can be prolific hail producers, with hail that can range in size from that of a dime to as large as a grapefruit. Notice the explosive convection above the laminar striations of this LP supercell.
Get an idea how that thing is rotating. Like a top. Crisp curling on top.
The rapid growth of cumulonimbus may resemble the mushroom cloud of an atom bomb explosion. This tendency is known as mushrooming and is the visual indication that the updraft is extremely intense and quite capable of producing severe weather. Another variety of supercell storm is called the classic supercell. Classic supercells consist of one or more rotating updrafts which are located southwest of the main precipitation area of the storm. This precipitation region is much more extensive than what is found with an LP storm, and low clouds are generally more prevalent. Large hail is often found just north of the main storm updraft, with very little visible precipitation occurring beneath the rain-free base portion of the storm. Tornadoes which occur in association with classic supercells are often very visible due to sunlit skies located just to the west of a storm. A flanking line of cumulus congestus towers is often present, extending off to the southwest of the main storm updraft, as seen in this example. One of the most dangerous forms of a supercell is called a high precipitation storm, or HP. HP supercells contain extensive regions of precipitation, with much of this falling in the normally rain-free base region of the storm to the west of the mesocyclone.
Big HP.
This prevents strong backlit conditions from occurring, resulting in poor visibility for tornado spotting. HP storms have a tendency to exhibit dramatic displays of cyclonically curved inflow bands and mid-level cloud striations, such as you see here. Mesocyclones associated with HP supercells are often found in the forward flank portion of the storm, that is, in front of the precipitation core, as opposed to being located on the southwest flank behind the precipitation as in the classic supercell. A form of inflow cloud called a beaver's tail may occur with all types of supercells, but it is most common with the HP. A beaver's tail is a special smooth or laminar cloud band which is usually attached to the eastern edge of an updraft base and extends to the east or northeast. This cloud band demarcates cool, rainy downdraft air from warm, moist inflow air feeding into the storm from the southeast. Use this feature as a visual clue to the extent of inflow organization into the storm. This is the vault region of a supercell's updraft. The updraft vault is a mid-level cloud area which is located between a storm's forward flank precipitation core and the main storm updraft. It is in this area that scattered large hailstones fall and frequent cloud-to-ground lightning usually occurs. A tornado can be considered as the most violent atmospheric phenomenon found on Earth. Tornadoes come in all shapes, sizes, and apparent colors. The largest and most destructive tornadoes are produced by supercell storms. Tornadoes in supercell storms are most commonly associated with a rotating wall cloud. The presence of a rotating wall cloud, which lasts more than a few minutes, is a rather reliable indicator of tornado formation, especially if strong east or southeasterly winds blow toward the wall cloud. Tornadoes can appear as a classic funnel-shaped cloud like the one seen here, or as a large barrel or wedge-shaped cloud on the ground which exhibits violent cloud motion such as this large tornado in northern Oklahoma.
Gigantic tornado. Thank God I took today off. Gigantic wedge tornado. Multiple vortex. Couldn't ask for anything else.
Larger tornadoes generally consist of multiple circulations which rotate around a common center. These circulations are called multiple vortices and can sometimes be seen as separate funnels rotating around each other. These vortices are not separate tornadoes. Rather, they are considered as one multiple vortex tornado as a whole. An important consideration, especially in drier climates such as the high plains, is that the actual funnel cloud or condensation funnel does not have to make contact with the ground for it to be called a tornado. As a general rule, if a funnel cloud extends halfway down from cloud base, you should expect damaging tornadic winds at the surface in the vicinity of the funnel. Look at the debris cloud that this funnel has produced. On many occasions, one may see dirt and debris being kicked up from the surface below the funnel. If this is seen, it is obvious that a tornadic circulation is on the ground and should be reported as a tornado. Some tornadoes may be very difficult to see due to the presence of heavy precipitation behind the circulation. This is especially common with high precipitation supercells or with storms which occur in the eastern half of the United States, masked by haze and low clouds. Tornadoes are extremely dangerous when they wrap in rain such as this one. Rain generally reduces visibilities, resulting in individuals not being able to visually perceive that a dangerous storm is approaching. A variety of mechanisms can work together to produce a tornado, and unusual circumstances can result, such as this westward-moving rope tornado, which merges with a developing wedge. not all tornadoes are associated with supercells. Severe multicell storms can produce smaller tornadoes, and even non-rotating storms can produce a special variety of tornado known as a landspout, as seen here. Landspouts develop when pre-existing circulations of air near the ground are pulled or stretched upward by a strong updraft from above. They have a distinctive look with the appearance of a soda straw or straight-sided tube. Landspouts are usually weaker than supercellular tornadoes and move rather slowly. However, landspouts can become somewhat intense on occasion, but do not normally present a threat that is as great as a supercell tornado. This is a shelf cloud. Shelf clouds are low-level cloud bands which form on the leading edge of cold outflow air known as a gust front. These clouds are always attached to the thunderstorm cloud base and often have a terraced appearance to their upper portions. You will most often see shelf clouds associated with an active line of thunderstorms known as a squall line. Tornadoes are not likely in association with a shelf cloud. However, small ground-based circulations called gustnados may develop along the leading edge of a rapidly advancing gust front.
Very nice. Hey, this isn't bad at all.
Gustnados seldomly last more than a minute or two and do not pose a significant threat. On rare occasions, gustnados can be strong enough to overturn a vehicle or unroof a structure.
At the leading edge of the outflow, really widening circulation.
Small, ragged, wind-torn cloud elements, such as these, are known as scud clouds. They usually form in cool, rainy downdraft air where relative humidities are extremely high. Notice the opaque precipitation core directly behind these clouds. Viewing storms at night can prove to be quite difficult unless prior knowledge of storm structure is gained. Cloud features backlit by lightning flashes, such as this wall cloud, can be successfully observed. However, determining rotation at night is extremely difficult unless you are rather close. Shelf clouds can often be mistaken for wall clouds at night, especially when lightning is not very frequent or in the right area in relation to the viewer. Remember to use this general rule when determining the difference between shelf clouds and wall clouds. Shelf clouds will tend to angle away or be pushed away from a thunderstorm core. Wall clouds, on the other hand, will normally slope toward the storm's core. As illustrated by the previous examples, the thunderstorm can be a magnificent and often beautiful phenomenon to observe. However, it should be well respected for the power and danger held within. It is hoped that the knowledge gained by observing cloud structures can prove beneficial to the enjoyment and appreciation of severe storms, as well as increase the likelihood of early detection and warning of dangerous weather, which may save lives and property.
You might call the Murphy, too, because it could be coming across that way, too. Looks like it's coming pretty close to the Collin Dallas County line. This is W5BJ, Dallas County Skywarn operation. N5AJW. AJW, Mickey.
I'm no use to you anymore. The rain is so heavy I can't see the cloud at all at Plano Parkway and 75. I'm going to move back north, and we also have quarter-inch hail at the same time, but I can see nothing now.
Quarter-inch hail at your location, right?
Quarter-inch hail.
See you, thank you. And yes, you may secure. K5HW. He stole you. What do you see, bud?
Well, it looks like the area to the north of me is still, that one area that's lowered a little bit more is still trying to get better organized, Bob, but it keeps working at it.